life plus the girl, so it's like mathematically you're ruining 3 lives, like if you really think about it. Yeah, Dr. Upler.
Okay. Would you rather be dead or poor?
Thank you.
How many people have conceived children in very unfavorable circumstances and have then gone on to look back on that child as being the bright spot of their lives?
How often does that happen though? You bring a child into a poor economic situation
I think
and
it happens.
you're struggling just to get by yourself, but not just yourself, but the child plus the lady. You know, all that's
But
the
they
3
should
of
have
you
been having
that's
sex in
struggling.
Let me tell you something
Don't
about
have
the word
sex
struggle.
then.
Let me tell you something about the word struggle. My wife and I make, between the two of us, a pretty darn good living. We would be considered upper middle class. And we still struggle, quote unquote struggle, of course, to raise our children. Financially as well as otherwise. It's always a struggle to raise children. And no matter what, in the best of circumstances, it's a struggle. Now, my question to you is, I know what you mean, like, there's struggle and then the struggle.
Yeah, no, I could easily say that. I mean, you say you make good money, right? Imagine someone in a situation that's like 10 times worse off, and that's even more of a struggle. So if you think you're struggling, imagine someone that's having a kid.
Yeah,
You know, like what kind of struggle that's gonna be? That's like suicide then. If you're struggling, then someone that's
You totally
no
dismiss
education.
the
One
adoption.
thing.
You could always give
They
it
have
up.
welfare and I don't.
Hey, what does welfare do though?
No, welfare compares to the money you make.
You know what welfare does? It takes money out of my wallet.
Yeah, I know what welfare
Hey,
does.
but our living conditions are a lot better than everyone else, and they still have kids too. So even if you're poor in this country, you're good.
I like to reduce things to simple yes or no answers. My question one was, would you rather be dead than poor?
Poor.
And
Oh,
Oh.
most people,
emo.
students, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but try to focus on what I'm saying and respond to it directly. Most people themselves, even no matter how poor they are, would not rather be dead. And yet, they might argue that someone else is better off dead than poor, and therefore we should abort their child, but rather than allow it to face a life of poverty. Unless you yourself are willing to say that you would rather be dead than poor, you don't have the right to say that someone else would be better off dead.
See, that's why the drug use is so high in the life of poverty, because they want to get away from life, and that they'd rather be dead. I mean, they're out of their minds, but if you think about it, that's why like crack use is so high.
Well, you know, that's an interesting question, because you have to ask yourself, which is the cause and which is the effect? Are people poor because they take drugs? Many are. Or are they taking drugs because they're poor?
No, they take drugs to get away from the reality of it, because they
So do rich people.
Rich people.
Yeah,
Rich
rich
people
people
take
do that a
drugs too.
lot.
Rich
poor.
It's just that rich people can afford it and don't get poor.
Yeah, I've seen.
No, it's just a different choice of drug. Then at that point, that's like then you're asking a whole different question.
Here's a deeper question, ready? Do we have the right to kill other people for our own convenience?
No.
No.
Because somebody else will kill us.
So even if the child is going to make our life extremely difficult, from a moral standpoint, do we have the right to take the life of a child just so that we are not inconvenienced? Now, I think that's a very crucial question, because if you go down that road, then someone else can use the same logic and take your life for their convenience.
So who's to say that lady, the girl, doesn't have her own choice to abort it then? If you think about it like that, then who limits her right to say, I don't want the child? She brought it, upon the world. She has the right to take it away before it. I mean, that's borderline, but I mean, still,
Where does life come from?
the lady, and
Really?
from
Ultimately.
God, I don't know exactly.
See, people wonder what does religion have to do with abortion? That's kind of the ultimate question, though. If you think that life is strictly a biological conglomeration of cells, then sure, an abortion is like getting your fingernails trimmed. If you think that life is sacred and comes from God, then it's a very much more serious matter.
But as the children of God, so that's why we look out for ourselves. That's why we take those, I guess, risks or, choices that we make is to.
People do make bad choices, that's not the question. The question is not what choices are made, but what choices should be made. So we can make abortion totally illegal and it'll still happen. The question is not what is done, but what should be done. But he wants to say,
Well, one of the
we'll go on.
one of the articles I read was one of the articles I read.
Next time,
This is so difficult.
he gets to talk
Sorry.
again. One more round, but he talks.
One of the articles I read drew similarity. Okay.
Who's to say that, like you're saying, like, it's wrong, but like, who's to say it's wrong? Who's making those decisions? Who's it wrong, like, who's it, like, I don't know, like, who says it's wrong? And what makes that person
One of
so
the
right?
articles I read drew similarities between slavery and abortion. So in the Dred Scott case, the Supreme Court decided that it was okay for Black people to not be considered legal persons. And
Thank
they
you.
were the property of the owner.
Wait, let her
So-
continue. Let her
So
continue.
those